What's good, y'all? So look, let's talk about the latest college football playoff rankings. There's was some disrespect in these rankings. We gonna break it all down on the show. Now, a lot of y'all been getting at me about James Madison. They've been balling this year. They only lost to Louisville. They were obviously 7-1 in the Sun Belt. I think what hurts them though is the Sun Belt Conference. Another team that was not ranked in the latest rankings is obviously Memphis. Memphis is having a pretty good year in the CFP. They're not ranked, but remember the highest group of five team is going to get in. So that's going to be interesting to watch moving forward. Nonetheless, let's talk about Tennessee. Again, Tennessee, 3 losses in the SEC. I think there's other teams you can go to that definitely should be ranked in this poll. For comparison, this is the AP poll. I told y'all about Cincinnati shouldn't be ranked. Memphis should be obviously in there, ranked at number 25 over Tennessee, respectfully. And the AP poll has the same ranking them over them. Let's put some respect on the group of five teams. Memphis is having a pretty good year. Number 24, I do like that Pitt is in here, though. Pitt is having a really good year. They still got Notre Dame on the schedule. That's going to be a major matchup moving forward. But we know about Pittsburgh. We know about Mason Heitstrel. We know obviously about the running back, all-purpose back in Desmond Reed. Pretty good defense. They got big games coming up. They will also play Georgia Tech. But I do like that they're ranked in this poll. We talked about Washington and obviously DeMond Williams and everything that they can do. Like to see that they're also ranked in this poll as well. They're having a pretty good underrated season. Good to see them get a little bit of shine. Missouri, we'll see this weekend against Texas A&M how good they are. 3 versus 22. How would Matt Zollers be if he's the starting quarterback for them? He should be. How would he look at home? Can they pull off the upset? Can they get Ahmad Hardy going? That's going to be the biggest thing moving forward. Michigan, we know about Michigan. Great running attack. Justice Haynes playing well. But to win these big games and to continue to come into, make a CFP, they need Bryce Underwood to take the next step. But they also need the weapons, the receivers to step up big for them. So that'll be massive moving forward for the Wolverines. I also like that was not ranked in this poll is Iowa. Now, Iowa lost this season to Iowa State, and they lost to Indiana. But I like it. They have a good team. Mark Gronowski's been playing decent ball, nearly 1,000 yards passing, but their defense has been good once again. And the offense is finally being able to put up points. They could potentially help themselves even more with the win over Oregon. Now, USC in number 19 is a little bit high. 2 losses on the year. Big games coming up. Lost to obviously Notre Dame. We'll see if they can handle it. Now, where the disrespect comes in is at the 18 spot and 17 spot. And the reason I say that is you look at this poll, the ACC really got disrespected. There's not one top 12 ACC team in this poll. Starting at 17 is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech lost 1 game this year to NC State. The game they lost to NC State, 46 or 48-36. I understand they dropped. I know you're like, well, Najeh, you didn't say it was that big of a deal when they were at 16. I didn't. Because I think they deserve to be in that spot. But the teams ranked above them, I don't necessarily agree with. That's why I think Georgia Tech got disrespected. So when we look at it, right, Virginia lost to NC State. Obviously, a close game. Didn't count against the record. They're 14 ahead of Georgia Tech. They both have a loss. Louisville also lost the game earlier this year to Virginia. They are obviously should be ranked above Louisville. But Louisville is above Georgia Tech. They did beat Miami. I understand that. But above Georgia Tech, I don't know. Seems a little iffy. Also, you got Vanderbilt, who's ranked above Georgia Tech with 2 losses. I know what y'all going to say. Well, they only lost Najeh to Alabama and Texas. 2 top 12 teams in the country, according to this poll. Again, I get it. I ain't saying they're not a good team. Last year they beat Georgia Tech, I understand. But them above Georgia Tech seems a little iffy to me. But like I said, this poll has ranked Big 12 teams ahead of really the ACC. ACC is really the bottom tier when we look at all the Power Fours. The SEC, the Big 10, and obviously the Big 12, right? And the reason I say that is, look how many teams are in the top 10 Big 12. You have BYU, Texas Tech. We'll talk about that matchup later. They play this weekend. There's not one team in the ACC in here, and guess how many one-loss teams there are? You have Virginia, you have Georgia Tech, and you have Louisville. They have Georgia Tech just 1 spot above Miami, who has 2 losses in the ACC. That makes no sense to me. Miami lost to Louisville, and they lost to unranked SMU, and you have them 1 spot. Georgia Tech 1 spot above them makes no sense. So one of my biggest takeaways is Georgia Tech's going to have to handle their business and not depend on the committee to help them get in. Get in on your own with auto bid. Get in the ACC championship if you want a chance to get in. That's what this poll tells me, and that they don't value the ACC like that. Other conferences, doesn't matter. Again, Texas, ugly wins against Kentucky, Mississippi State. I know they're playing better, but 11 is very high for them when they've struggled a lot this season. Same with Oklahoma, 2-loss team. Did pull out the win. 12 is very high. They should be about 15. Nonetheless, that's just my gripe. That's my thoughts overall on the poll. But let's keep going. Vanderbilt, 16. Big game coming up, for them. Can they continue to be in the rankings. 3 games left. Can you finish strong? Louisville had a big scare this past weekend against Virginia Tech. Came out on top. I still don't believe in their quarterback, but they have one of the best receivers in the country in Chris Bell. Should be a team to continue to watch out for. Virginia was going to play Wake Forest this week. Be interesting to see who will be the quarterback for Wake Forest. They've been using Deshaun Purdy. They've been using, obviously, Robbie Ashford. But they have a really good running back in Damon Claiborne. I will lean on him if I'm Wake Forest in that one, but a home game for Virginia. I don't have Virginia falling there just yet. I have them falling, though, to Duke in a few weeks. And like I said, it's no disrespect to Utah. Utah is a good team in the Big 12. They lost to, obviously, BYU and Texas Tech. But 13 as a 2-loss team is very high over 1-loss teams. That's why I said the disrespect. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. Nonetheless, really good quarterback in Devon Dampier. One of, obviously, the best in his conference. Oklahoma, not quite sold yet. I think they're going to end up selling. The defense has not played good the last few weeks. Been struggling mightily. Shout out to John Mateer pulling out a win on the road against Tennessee. Now you got Texas. I believe in Arch Manning. Bye week this week. Then they play Georgia. Big game. That's probably going to be 5 versus 11 unless anything happens. Could be 5 versus 10 or a top 10 matchup. That's going to be to watch out for. Especially will have big-time implications on the CFP. Notre Dame, obviously, number 10 ranked. Big games coming up. They will play Navy this weekend, who I'm kind of surprised didn't get ranked as well. They did lose in North Texas, but they're 7-1 on the year. Pretty good football team. Another team you can make an argument should be top 25 ranked. Oregon had a bye week this past week. They're going to play on the road against Iowa. Very interesting to see if they can avoid the upset against a really good defensive-minded team. But Dante Moore should be able to pull that one out. Now the big one. But we've seen what the committee did. The committee obviously ranks Big 12 as one of the higher-ranked teams or conferences in the college football. Both teams are ranked in the top 10. A loss probably shouldn't hurt the other team too much. Like if BYU loses first loss of the year, shouldn't really drop too far in my opinion with how these rankings went. Texas Tech could be a team that falls a little bit, but again with the rankings maybe to 14 or 13. But depends on how the matchup goes. Top 10 matchups for both teams. We'll see who comes out on top. Ole Miss is Ole Miss. They deserve to be a top 10 team. They've been pretty good this year. 8-1 on the year. I like QB1 Trinidad Chambliss. They can throw the ball. Defense is a little suspect, but they can be in the game with their offense. Georgia's another team that struggled this year in terms of pulling away, dominating teams, but they're resilient. One thing to say about Georgia, they're resilient and they find a way to pull out games. So they should be fine. They play Mississippi State this week. We'll see if they can avoid the upset, though. Next up, you got Alabama at 4. Had a bye week. They play LSU. Can't wait to see how them boys look. Deserve to be, obviously, high in the ranking. Now, Texas A&M is probably my favorite team to watch this year with Marshall Reed, obviously KC, Concepcion, Mario Craver, Scooby Williams. How they got dogs all over the damn field. This team is legit. They're elite. Can't wait to see them this weekend against Missouri. Next, you got Indiana. They can make the argument they should be the number 1 team. They've been whooping everybody. Indiana should be top ranked. Make the argument number 1. But I get it. Ohio State's been dominating everybody too. We'll see, though. They got some tough competition coming up. That Michigan game's going to have some good intrigue, and this one is in Ann Arbor, so we'll see who wins that one. But that's the CFP rank. That's my thoughts. That's how I look at it, man. But for any ACC team, it's going to be tough. You being not even in the top 12 with 1 loss with teams that have 2 losses above you, crazy work to say the least, man. But we're going to see how it turns out, man. But if ACC, all I'm going to say is you better handle your business, get an auto bid, because trying to get an at-large bid, good damn luck. Don't look like it's going to happen in the ACC. Obviously, the committee views the other conferences higher. But comment down below what you guys' thoughts on the newest rankings.